All right, good evening. This is the Select Board meeting for Monday, December 22nd, 2025, at 5:30 PM. I'll call the meeting to order. Before I do that, in accordance with the requirements of open meeting law, please be advised that the meeting is being recorded and broadcast live by East Bridgewater Community Access Media, EBCAM. The meeting is available for viewing on EBCAM website at www.eb-cam.org and will be updated or uploaded to the EBCAM YouTube channel following the meeting. So calling the meeting order, let's have a Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so a little different this evening. We are going to go directly into executive session, and then we will come back for our regular scheduled meeting, and then I think we go back to executive session after that. Okay, so let me read my cheat sheet here. Let's see. I move the motion for the executive session. I move that East Bridgewater Select Board go into executive session for the following reasons. Pursuant to Mass General Law C-30A, 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, town administrator, and that the Select Board reconvene in open session at the end of the executive session. I confirm this is the chair. Looking for a second.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Any discussion? Seeing none, and all in favor? Aye. Okay, I declare that having an open meeting on collective bargaining, conduct negotiations, litigation may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the Select Board. Confirm the chair. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call. Aye, Peter Spagone.
Aye, Carol Julius.
Aye, Catherine Mullen.
Okay, we'll be back. With Lisa, why don't you come up first?
Did you want to do the Pledge of Allegiance and stuff?
Again?
We
did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did it. We can do it again if you want.
Sure.
I want to be American. Okay, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance
No.
for people that weren't here. All right, here we go.
In case they think we didn't.
Yep. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Double pledge. Okay, Lisa, would you come on up, introduce yourself, and let us know a little bit about what you're doing, and welcome aboard.
My name is Lisa D'Angelo, and I am currently volunteering at the COA in town, and also I participate in a lot of the activities that they have there. It's a fabulous place. I'm sure everybody knows that it's a wonderful place, and an opportunity for me came up to join the board, and I jumped at it because it's a wonderful opportunity for me and to help.
Absolutely. And we appreciate you joining that board. And condolences, right? Because she'll be working with Dave Sheedy,
I mean,
right? So
if you need help,
that could be
let
tough.
us know.
That could be tough.
We can give you some negotiating tips.
We always give David a hard time here, so that's kind of the rule. But again, thank you very much for joining it, and good luck. We wish you all the best success. Right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. All right.
Thank you.
For your
Thank you.
time.
Happy holidays.
You too, thank you now.
All right, Emily, you're up next. So, why don't you tell us? All you need to do is tell us who you are and who you represent, and I'll take it from there.
Okay. I'm Emily Oliver. I'm the co-director of the East Bridgewater Food Pantry housed at the Union Congregational Church.
Yes. So I asked Emily to join us today briefly, so I could first thank her for all the work that they've been doing down there. I think this is our 13th year working with you guys at the EB Food Pantry, as long as St. John's Pantry. But the reason I called you in is I wanted to make it noted that the town was very how would I put this? They were overachievers in what they did to help us raise what we did, not only in the food items, but monetarily as well. So the town employees got together. They raised $200, and I decided to match that with you guys, yeah, so that we can present a check to the food pantry, yeah. And I want to give a shout out to Marilyn, Charlie, Melanie, Nikki, Trish, Lisa, Jen, Paula, Melanie again. We got two Melanies, or the same Melanie?
Just one, but you know.
Okay, we really want to thank Melanie. Rebecca, Emily, Megan, Candy, Sue, Ann, and we got Trish again. So Trish and Melanie both get double thank yous. But again, thank you for the work that you do. I want to give
more
you
than
this
welcome.
again, and we'll continue to, and anything else I can do, or I'm sure the board can do, let me speak in a second here, but we really, we know it's been a difficult year, to say the least, a little difficult few years, but, you know, we're here to support.
Busy.
Yeah.
We at the food pantry, I think St. John's would agree, is we are so very blessed by this little town that has such mighty power and such support from the corporations, the small corporations, the small mom and pops, the man who brings me fresh eggs every other week, to the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts and Phi Beta Psi over at BSU. We are very blessed in town, and the support has been enormous for us, and we're able to contribute to this town and help those in need greatly because of it. We appreciate it. Thank you very much for what you do, and your fundraiser, your food raiser is
Yeah.
one of our biggest that will supply us now. We'll probably get through to March till I have to buy a new can. So I personally appreciate it because I'm the purchaser, and that's a big deal for me. But I thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a member of Kiwanis, and I know
Yes,
it's important for
yep.
us to support both food pantries every month,
Yeah.
too. So I think this is great. Thank you for
Yeah.
your
Oh, absolutely.
in-kind contribution.
Without it, it's.
I hope it helps. It's been a tough season, and grocery
It's been,
prices
it's
are.
always, this time of year is very
hurting
busy.
everybody.
It's just, there's been more things going on that have, we've had to rely more on, more volunteers. And people have come out in droves, which is fabulous.
Good to see.
And the support monetarily has been great, too. So we're
Thanks
able
for what you do.
to function. Well, thank you.
I know, yeah. Thank you for everything you do, especially with everything going on right now. I think we've seen so much food insecurity, and being able to have people like you in town who are so, and being able to be at the food pantry and the volunteers that you have, you
Yes.
are so instrumental, and we really appreciate everything that you folks do. And thank you for making our town better. We appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
give this-
Thank you for our check. It'll make someone's life so much easier.
Absolutely.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you as always, all right? We'll
All
talk
right,
soon.
yeah, we'll talk
All right.
soon. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas,
Merry
guys.
Christmas.
All right, moving right along here. I did get a call from my good friend Heather Craven. So Heather, why don't you come on up and let the board know, just name, address, and and I know you got a little something you want to bring up.
Hi, I'm Heather Craven. I live at 89 Anna Drive. Okay. To the East Bridgewater Board of Selectmen, I am talking to you as a mother, a resident of the small town, and as someone who is simply asking for compassion and common courtesy. My daughter, Sydney Craven, passed away on March 19, 2015, was laid to rest at Central Cemetery on March 27, 2015. That date is forever etched into my heart. Her gravesite is the only physical place we have left where we can go to feel close to her, to talk to her, to remember her, and to grieve. We have 4 plots to ease the pain and burden if anything should happen to our family members. When we purchased Sydney's cemetery plot, we were never informed of any bylaws regarding decorations, limitations, or restrictions. No paperwork was provided, no explanation was given, and no one took the time to explain what would or would not be allowed at the site. We made this purchase in good faith during the most devastating times of our lives, trusting that her resting place would be respected. A cemetery is not a park, and it's not an arboretum. It's a sacred place where families come together to mourn and to heal. Decorating a gravesite is not about excess, it's about love. It's about honoring a life that ended far too soon. Holidays, birthdays, and special moments are painful reminders of what has been lost, and being able to decorate Sydney's grave helps us feel that she is still included, still celebrated, and still loved. It should not be a problem to decorate a gravesite. These decorations bring comfort, not harm. They do not take away from anyone else's experience. They help families survive their grief. I also struggle to understand why families are not contacted directly when issues arise, and why individuals elected to oversee a nonprofit cemetery are allowed to remain involved when the president does not even live in East Bridgewater. This cemetery sits in our town property, and the turmoil and distress being caused by these decisions is not what East Bridgewater stands for. We are a small town, and this level of conflict over grieving families is not something our community wants or needs at this time. This situation has caused unnecessary pain and heartache. It is not as though I can simply move my daughter's plot. Her resting place is permanent, just like our love for her. I am respectfully and emotionally asking for your help. I'm not sure if you can do anything, but I'm asking for your help. Please, please allow us to work towards changing the bylaws. Please help me re-elect new members who will lead with compassion and understanding. Please help me leave my daughter's resting place and the resting place of others alone. I want to continue celebrating my daughter's life. I do not want to stop honoring holidays or special moments because Deborah Nutter, the president, and her board have said no. That is not kindness, that is not community, and that is not what East Bridgewater represents. We are a small town, and I'm asking for help, not just for my family, but for every family who grieves at Central Cemetery. Thank you for taking the time to hear from my voice and my heart.
Okay, thank you, Heather. So this has been an issue, obviously. We've spoke about it in the past as well. Again, like I think we've said before, unfortunately, this is a private entity, right, Charlie? I mean, you want to give us a little, just so everybody understands what we're dealing with?
So you have public cemeteries that are run by municipalities. So for instance, Halifax, the cemetery behind the town hall is run through the cemetery department. It's an actual town department, has, the fees, the regulations, everything have to be approved by the select board. Then you have private cemeteries like Central, where it's a nonprofit. It's completely separate from the town any more than any business in town is. And we don't have a role to play specifically in how that business operates. There's certainly nothing preventing the board from sending a note to the trustees, encouraging them to consider how families feel about those who are there, and the reasons why grave sites could be decorated on a limited basis, or both in terms of the amounts, but also in terms of how long decorations could be there, or what parts of the year they could be there, and things like that. For instance, I go by the North Main Street Cemetery over in Providence almost every day because that's on my way to work. And even if I went home tonight, I'm going to see, for instance, all these solar lights as an example. So different cemeteries have different regulations about how grave sites can have decorations and such. But the board doesn't have a formal role, nor does the town have a formal role. Really, it comes down to looking at the bylaws, examining how those who might have a role to play, whether could influence the trustees. For instance, I don't know what the elections process is for the trustees, but I'm sure there has to be one, and how those who are interested in the affairs of the cemetery can affect those who serve on the trustee board.
Okay. All right. Well, before I
Just wanted to, I'm sorry,
That's all right.
just to make a comment about this. So in 2015, when I bought the
yeah, take
plots,
your time.
there was another owner on the site. So when everything was fine, like we didn't, like there was no bylaws given to us, they asked for checks and we gave our checks and that's what we gave. In 2020, when COVID was going on, they sold, where they went and they elected a new board.
Okay.
Now, there was no problem, I mean, no one was told they elected the board, they just randomly was like, oh, by the way, like there's new signs up there, and people who had sites were just, I guess, thrown into it. So they decided that they had this board, and I tried reaching out to them multiple times. The Enterprise has written a paper, like,
Yes.
the lady does not, unfortunately, the president, they elected themselves. Like, I don't know how, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how they did that, but I also believe that someone should have been grandfathered in, because if we weren't given anything, you're putting these bylaws through, they do not respond to emails. They do not, like, follow any, like, guidelines. They say they are, but, like, I feel like as someone who lives in a small town, like, I'm fighting for other people too, and it's just, like, unfortunately, I feel so strong that they're just unfortunately getting away with something, like, and they don't mean to, I don't think they mean to be harmful to people, but there's no way out. Like, I don't know where I can actually, like, make my voice heard.
Well, again, I mean, this is why the bylaws are important. I know they exist. I remember seeing copies online, but reviewing the bylaws and then determining, in fact, how trustees are elected, how bylaws are changed and such. It's the town, for instance, wouldn't go to any business in town and say, how do you run your business? What are your hours? What do you pay your employees? Similarly, we don't get an opportunity even for nonprofits to tell a nonprofit, however it's composed, whatever its history is, to tell them how they operate their affairs also. I understand the frustration you're having because there's no response. And unfortunately, if again, it would be an examination of the bylaws, working with people to review the bylaws and see how you all can affect change. Those people want to see changes there. What is the process for that happening? But the town doesn't have a specific role to play in that. Other than obviously, as I said, the board could certainly lobby the trustees and say, we wish you would consider the families of those who are there on a permanent basis, and that you make allowances for decorations and such. Again, it may not be exactly what you want, but certainly more than what's possible right now.
And what I would suggest, and this is my own personal opinion, I mean, maybe to see if, just because it's from this board or from this office, if we could reach out, maybe see if they'd be willing, as Heather has been, to have a conversation at a meeting, whether it be privately or publicly, to see, see what their stance is. I mean, obviously, there's always two sides, right, to every situation like this, especially. I think that would be a better start, just to see what they'd be willing to do, if they do answer us or don't answer us. But I think that would give us a little bit of a headway. I unfortunately looked at the list. I don't really know any of those people as well who sit on there, because it's always easier when you've got a couple of people that you can reach out to directly. But and I understand exactly what you're saying, for sure. Yeah. Okay.
Doing great.
Okay. So what I've suggested, Charlie, is with both you and Catherine's opinion as well, reaching out to the entity, see if
Absolutely.
we could get them, whether be here or publicly or privately, to have a conversation to see, because there's always two different sides to every story. So let's see what what their reasonings for some of this is, and I think maybe hopefully we'll get a faster response, at least to see if we get a response, unlike yourself, and then from there maybe we can find an avenue. I think that's fair with everyone, and I do know there are other. I did look around. There are other cemeteries that do have certain rules for certain times of the year to put something out, and there's only a certain amount of time that you can keep it there or do whatever you have to do. So there might be something we can do.
Up in Oswego just yesterday, for instance, New York, and there's a town cemetery. I don't know if it's a town cemetery or private, but they they had the rules right there. I mean, unfortunately, some of them are better than others about communicating that information.
Yeah. So hopefully we can find some contacts, some information, whether it be an email or an address or something, we can get it out.
At least I remember there have been concerns before voiced about, and there were, as you all mentioned, the newspaper article, and I remember seeing, I think they, at least at that time, had a website presence. We can go back and start with that and try and get in communication with them.
Yeah, if that's fine with you guys.
Invite them into a board meeting or private
To
meeting.
step out.
Yeah, it's definitely, at least I've had a couple of constituents, people reach out from the town that have said that it sounds like to me a communication issue, especially, you saying you weren't provided any bylaws at the time when you purchased the plot, which is obviously what you're thinking about in that time, but then looking back, I definitely think that there's communication to be had, and, maybe exactly as you said, Peter, reaching out as a board, maybe
Yeah, get
sometimes poking the bear, yeah.
Give us a little time to explain their side of the situation.
And I don't want to cause any harm or anything to the board. I just,
No.
if they're getting older, you know what I mean? It might be nice for a nice facelift, you know what I mean? Or people in there, because it is such an old cemetery and it has a lot of rich culture into it. And I just would hate for somebody to come in to this town and just change that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's just my concern. So I
Yep.
appreciate you letting me talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll
you.
be in touch.
All right.
We'll see what we can do, and I'll certainly reach out back to you.
All right, thanks so
All right,
much.
Heather.
Thank you.
Yep. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, guys. Thank you.
All right. Is anyone else here for? Yep. Come on up.
We're very popular tonight.
Yeah. Open session becoming big.
Hi,
Hi.
George Doucette, 85 Hayward Road, East Bridgewater. I'm just following up on the meeting, the last meeting 2 weeks ago. Have we come to anything, or?
Yeah, so I actually, I think, we remember the board, I don't believe you
I
were
wasn't
here.
here,
Yeah,
yeah.
so-
You were gonna talk.
Yeah, and I did. I went, George, I went down and I saw Patrick, had a nice talk with him regarding this and the property adjacent to you as well. What he had indicated to me was kind of similar to the situation, not so much the structures themselves, because yours isn't like permanently put there, but I know the neighbors, it was permanently there. So when when he had the discussion with the other neighbor, I think what had come about was he said to him, "Hey, look, if you go out and get your land surveyed, and there's something different because you think that's the case, then so be it. I mean, if you're right, then that's where it stays. If you're not right," and he was sure. So that's what he ended up doing. I think some of these stakes is what Patrick told me was it, and of course, unfortunately for him, it wasn't in the right position. And he had to, obviously make the correction. So based on that information, when I talked more to Patrick about him coming out to your spot, as Charlie said, his determination was, as the building inspector, that it looked as if to him it was on that area. So I said, okay, here's what we can do. Based on what we've already got kind of set up as precedents for this type of situation, we either can do one or two things. Either you slide it in 4 feet or whatever it may be, or we would offer you the same situation where you would have to get it surveyed and take a look at it. And if it's correct, then obviously it would stay there. I just don't know, and Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong, where we've already set up one scenario with the neighbor. If we don't particularly do the same thing with the other neighbor, I just don't know where this board would be legally, obviously.
So the problem with the neighbors was he built an addition without a permit.
Yep.
It came to the light of the town, it went in front of the zoning board of appeals, and he got a 40-foot variance after that survey that he got done. And he had to do some remediation work, obviously. When I had the same surveyor come out, that back lot line is supposed to be a straight line. As you can see from the photograph there, there's 18 inches between it. That back line, nobody knows where it really is, and that's the same surveyor.
Okay.
And as I asked the town before, if the town has a problem with the 1 foot of my shed, as you can see on the survey that I've already had done, 1 foot of a corner of the shed and about 8 inches of the bird coop, I have no problem moving it. But like I said, either I'd like an easement or have the town, if the town has an issue and believes that it's over the property line, have the town bring out a third-party civil engineer, not Webby, to do a survey to actually determine where that line is. And wherever the third-party civil engineer says it is, that's the word. That's the law of the land at that point. If I have to move things or chop part of a building off, I will.
Okay.
But based on 2 surveys that don't agree with each other on where that lot line is, it's like looking at the edge of the table, and one is 18 inches in and one is 18 inches out. Where is that line actually? And if we were dealing with my entire shed over that line, I'd say absolutely that's in no way, in some way, shape, or form, it's out of compliance. But it's 12 inches of a corner of one building and 8 inches of another, and I don't want to move heaven and earth based on surveys that don't agree with each other.
So the movement of that, George, would be difficult, is what you're saying, to move?
Yeah, moving the shed or the bird coop. The bird coop's not built on a foundation or anything. It can't be moved. Slice a corner
it was
off
just a
and
shed,
patch it.
right.
Same thing with the shed.
Okay, all right. I thought we were just dealing with the shed. I wasn't sure about the bird coop. And then, just to clear it for myself, so you did have this area surveyed, is what you're
By
saying?
Webby, the same company that surveyed Mr. Mitchell's property next door at 95. And as I stated last time we were here, I contacted PMP, and they were very hesitant to do it because of the way that neighborhood's set up. As I stated before, it was 25 foot by 100, 150 foot, whatever the depth of it is, lots that were given away as prizes in the 60s and 70s. Nancy Morris across the street told us that at the Brockton Fair, of all places. And then, so no one wants to touch it. Finding reference points, I'd even suggest, there's a fire hydrant there. I know that they marked the fire hydrants with GPS down to the seconds, but they were just hesitant with all of that because even that project, when that went in, was kind of a nightmare as far as surveying it goes. Garvey and Whitman flat out refused to do it. I even gave Mr. Mitchell a survey, and he's like, it's too much of a nightmare in there, I can't do an accurate survey. That was what Garvey told me. Webby agreed to do it because they'd just done Mr. Mitchell's, and when I went outside and looked at the beam poles, the nails, I was like, this is a straight line. You know, when you look at the Mass GIS mapper, that's a straight line, and when you look at the markers that Webby put in 2 months separate from each other, they're at least 18 inches off.
So you're saying Webby didn't do the job correctly? Is that what I'm hearing?
On one or the other, on one or the other, and if where he put the marker in for when he did ours is the correct spot, that brings the line back further towards Mr. Mitchell's house, puts his concrete pad over the town line, and really creates a problem with the 40-foot variance that he got from Zoning Board of Appeals, which he's already registered with the Registry of Deeds.
Mhm.
Because that would make that even greater of a variance at that point. You'd have to get closer to a 50-foot variance. And they were hesitant to give him the variance because they didn't want to set the precedent with the town of giving 40-foot variances out
Right.
to the
Yeah,
edges
I
of the
never heard of
property line.
Hmm.
It's a nightmare. And as you can see in the only document the town has accepted regarding the plot plans of that neighborhood is the one from the septic
Yep.
in March or April of '21 that shows the shed inside the property line.
Okay. Well, fortunately, yep, I saw him, yep. So fortunately, we do have town council with us tonight on a separate matter, so John, you want to come up and add into,
Do you want to?
no, you're fine, you're good, George, yeah.
I mean, this sounds like a complicated situation. I
Yes.
get these boundary issues are, certainly frustrating, but it's not clear to me how much of this, if any of it, falls within the board's purview to deal with this.
Okay.
We can't really get into a detailed discussion because there are other property owners whose rights are involved. If we were going to have this discussion, if the board did have some purview over this, you would want to post it on an agenda and tell the other person, whoever the other people are, to be here as well.
Okay.
So I get a little concerned, if we go too far down the road of having a discussion that involves someone else's property rights without it being on an agenda, without that other person being there.
Okay.
So my suggestion is that we set up a meeting through Charlie with Patrick to talk about this. At some point, the board, if you were so inclined, you may vote to do another survey. Typically, boundary disputes aren't within review to resolve anyway.
So the disputes between the town and Mr. Doucette, that's where this
Yeah.
came. And just to catch up to speed, we have had a notice from your office go over to Mr. Doucette, right, Charlie?
Right.
Want to just,
And right now, we're holding that at bay. Obviously, there's a disagreement about
Okay.
where the line is, but we had John's office send a note indicating that there was encroachment involved onto the town property.
Okay.
And that we needed the buildings and such that had been encroaching to be moved off the town property.
All right, just so you know.
Given the dispute of the line, we're not taking any other action right now.
But if the board is inclined to take any action on this, I say put it on an agenda, and,
Okay.
we can, I would have Chris here, who's, I think, involved in these discussions.
yeah. No, I agree. I was, hoping that it would be a little smoother path down there, but we've had a few people in that area come into the meetings, obviously, and it is a tough area.
No, I know, and it was only brought to light because every time Mr. Mitchell gets himself into trouble, whether it's with conservation or whether it's with zoning or anything, I've become friends with Alex up in conservation, helping him out with, can you get me a photograph of this or that, because Mr. Mitchell has just not complied with anything there.
Yep.
And whenever Mr. Mitchell gets in trouble, he does, well, look what they're doing, and, he tries to deflect. And, when he did that with the right side of the property, which would be the east edge of the property, it turns out that there was a wetlands buffer there that was never marked. The markers were down before we bought the property. They did the septic about 3 months before. It was a 7-month closing, probate. And because there were no markers, when we put the garden in, part of it was over the wetlands buffer. And I said to Alex, come on out, show me what needs to be changed. And we moved a fence. We did everything Alex wanted ahead of schedule. I bought the seed that Alex wanted. We seeded it. Alex was completely thrilled with what we did. But with this one, this is just, it's the town's property. And if the town has issue with it, all I ask is that we have an accurate survey from a third-party civil engineer that does it, because I don't think, I'm not going to make allegations of impropriety on the part of Webby, but those two lines don't match up, and they're only 2 months apart.
Right.
You know,
Okay. Well, I think that's what we should do, take the advice of council. I mean, I don't want to continue to delay you guys.
no, it's okay.
What's
It's
going on, but.
winter, it's tough to do any work during the
Yeah.
winter anyway.
But I want to have it done correctly so that, whether it be you or Mr. Mitchell or anybody else in that neighborhood.
And everybody knows.
Right.
That's the line.
Everybody has an understanding of what we're doing. So let's do that. Let's, Charlie, if you don't mind, get together with Patrick and see what the availability is, and maybe Chris, Kenny as well. And then we'll have you on the agenda. We'll work around your
Okay.
schedule as well, and we'll go from there. Sound okay?
Okay, perfect. Thank
Right.
you.
Thank you.
Happy holiday.
Thank you.
Are you Attorney Kenny?
No.
Oh,
Different
No,
one.
okay.
No.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, George. I appreciate it.
Happy holidays.
Yep.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
We do? Anyone else here for open forum? Yep, come on up.
We're the 6:15.
Oh, the 6:15, okay. I didn't know we had a 6:15. Oh, yeah, there it is. I'm sorry, public hearing. Yes, it's further down the line, right.
Appreciate
All
your
right.
patience.
Right, thank you. Yeah, thank you for your patience. Sorry about that.
Of course, no, this was good conversation.
Good conversation, yeah. We should
Some
come every
good,
week.
some
And every 2
bad.
weeks we're here. If you've got nothing else to do, come on in and we can have a discussion. Should we
Formally open the public.
open it? Okay. Want to read the formal announcement for the 6:15?
Notice is hereby given that pursuant to the requirements of MGL Chapter
Guys, come on up.
138, a public hearing will be held relative to transfer of license of off-premises package store wine and malt beverages licenses as follows from Tri-Town Convenience and Liquor, Inc., DBA Tri-Town Convenience and Liquor. You're gonna have to help me. I don't want to mispronounce it. Guadalcanal.
Yep.
M. Patel. Oh,
Yep.
good. Look at that. Mass. Always pretty. Tri-Town Express Inc., DBA Tri-Town Express, Ramesh.
Yeah, Ramesh, yep.
Ramesh Kumar,
Radhakrishnan.
Radhakrishnan.
Easy, come on. You have a hard time with that?
Yep, you may.
Did I do okay?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so it's been formally opened. Tell us what's going on.
I have some background before I jump into what's going on. When I was reviewing the file, I saw 2 unnotarized copies of the queries, but I have the notarized copies. Can I give them to you just in case the application was submitted without these?
Sure, you can get them to me.
Yep.
Just in case.
Absolutely.
Better safe than sorry. So, good evening. I'm Sydney Prokos, an attorney with Vieira and DJ Filippo. I work with attorney Matt Porter. You may have corresponded with him. And I've been before you before. And it was
Okay.
nice. We represent Tri-Town Express, Inc., which is purchasing the beer and wine license from Tri-Town Convenience and Liquor, Inc., for the store located at 60 Franklin Street. This one is pretty straightforward compared to everything else that's gone on tonight. Some owners of the existing company are buying out their partners and bringing in new partners. So even though 2 of the 4 owners are staying on as owners of the store, it's still a transfer of license. So we're here before you asking for your approval of that internal shift. Here with me today is Rakesh Patel, who's one of the existing owners carrying on with the new company. The proposed manager will be Ramesh Radhakrishnan. Ramesh has worked at the store on and off for over 3 years, so he's already familiar with being on site and the customers, and he's been in the liquor industry for several years as well. The owners have been at this location for over 10 years with no issues at all at the state or local level, and the other partners being brought on are all industry veterans as well. Notably, this transfer of license is just an internal change at the store. We're not anticipating any changes at all related to the external business operations, hours of operation, location, anything else, just internal movement. So should the board approve this transfer application today, their application will go to the ABCC and we'll be on our way. And with that, any questions?
I don't have any. I think it's pretty straightforward, right?
Oh, good,
Oh,
yep.
Especially with the ownership being already there and understanding the business and the town. Do you have any questions?
They're right at the end of my street. I go there all the time. Yeah, right at the end of the street.
Continue going. See the same faces.
I know.
Nope, that's good. I just need a motion from us, Charlie. That would be it, right? Okay, Catherine, you just want to make a motion to, oh, I got to close the, thank you very much.
Dave Sheedy, you gotta
Right,
close the
you got to
public.
close the public hearing, yeah. Okay, let's make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
So moved, all right.
Second, third.
Third. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all right. Now we need the vote.
Okay, which one?
Same one that you just was on, so just
Okay,
make a motion to accept the,
motion to accept the transfer of license off-premise package store wine and malt beverages license as follows, as printed, or do you want me to say it?
no, you already said it.
Okay.
Motion's
See,
been
I'm
second.
learning too.
Yeah, motion's made second. Any further discussion? Congratulations, good luck, continue what you're doing, I guess.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're all set.
Thank you.
very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
All right, yep, have a good night. Okay, so about 10 minutes late for our appointment with the town council regarding the town administrator's annual performance review. John, you want to come on up on the east side?
Thank you. The board received information compiled by me. The board and Charlie undertook the process of doing a performance review for the town administrator. I don't defend the open meeting law that makes this such a convoluted process, but it is what it is. Just a quick overview of the process. It started with Charlie doing a self-assessment that was distributed to the board. Then each of you did individual performance reviews, which you sent to me. The individual performance assessments are confidential parts of Charlie's personnel file. We pull all those together in a summary compilation document, which you have before you this evening, that summarizes all of your various ratings in all the critical areas, and it includes a number of comments. That is a public document if the board is inclined to approve that compilation document that I sent to you. So the performance evaluation of the town administrator or any other person that you do a performance review for is a matter of public record. So that can be shared once you approve the document. So that's been submitted to you. I don't know if the board had any individual comments you wanted to share on the town administrator's performance for the purpose of this discussion.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, the process is a little convoluted, but Charlie, I appreciated your self-assessment and, thought that it was a good way of looking at things. And we've talked about some things that you do really well. You're very well respected. You're very, very knowledgeable and are genuinely a really nice human being, which I appreciate because town hall sometimes can be a difficult place to navigate for people. I think your communication with the public is exceptional and your ability to answer questions as they come in is very good, and I appreciate how you handle things so that things don't wind up on us that you can take care of first. And, we'll work on some other things. Communication with me as I work out of town can be tricky, but we will work on that going forward.
Thank you. Catherine?
Yeah, I definitely thank and appreciate all of you guys. Charlie, you are exceptionally brilliant. Right?
Yes.
That's a good library.
She's looking for Christmas cookies.
Right? No, I'm just, seriously, you are a wealth of knowledge, and I think now in our evaluations, and I know that this is public record, but it's just finding a direction, finding something that works, and, you're an extension of us as well, so our evaluation, not just on you, but we're evaluating, how we're functioning as well, so we appreciate everything, and that's all. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, Charlie, it's obviously, it's always tough to evaluate anyone. I mean, doesn't matter who it is. Because, you're looking at yourself being a part of that role as well, being a board and having to not only just work with you, but also your team. And, the one thing I've said all along is that, it is a team. And, you've been a big part of it, and you've helped us accomplish quite a bit, especially on some of the projects we have going forward. So, we look forward to continuing that team effort. And, I just, like I said, it's a difficult position to be in, but I think what was brought to you and was brought to us is the same thing, and we'll, continue working on ourselves as well as you. And like I said, I think we'll see some good things come out of that in the very near future. So appreciate everything you've done to this point, though, for sure.
So with that, does the board wish to approve the consensus compilation document?
I make a motion that we approve the consensus compilation document.
Second? Yep. Motion made second. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
All right, I think that's it for open forum. It's it for appointments. It's it for public hearings. There's no one else in the room.
Have some action.
Oh, Zach's
I scared them all away,
Zach's here. You want to take the table and talk about something?
except for Zach.
All right, so let's move into our action items. You shut the book already. You ready to go home?
You did shut the book.
Thought you was done.
Approve,
You got a big night ahead of you still.
All right.
approve the
Gotta read
minutes.
all those
All of
license.
them.
Oh, God. Approve the minutes of November 24th, 2025, and December 8th, 2025, Select Board
Thanks, Sean.
meeting.
Talk to you
See you,
soon.
John. Merry
Second.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
Motion made in second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Approve but not release the minutes of November 24th, 2025, and December 8th, 2025, Select Board's executive session meetings.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Approve to renew the contract with the town of Lakeville for the town to utilize the Lakeville Animal Shelter for housing stray and surrender dogs. This agreement will expire on December 31st, 2026.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any discussion? Charlie, you don't
No,
need
we've
anything
been
else?
doing this on a regular basis with good results.
Perfect. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Approve the request from Fire Chief John DiZallo for the quarterly ambulance billing abatements through December 2025 in the amount of $38,435.03.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any further discussion? Nothing. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Vote to adopt the buy recycle policy commencing January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026.
Second.
Motion made, second in discussion.
And we do that on an annual basis. Also, it's one of the stipulations for us to obtain various state grants for our recycling efforts.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion and possible decision of the signing of wastewater sewer connection agreement with Equity Industrial Southeast LLC et al.
Second.
Motion made in second. Discussion? You want to start?
It's been a long and winding road working with Equity, but we've managed to put together an agreement. It's a little bit more complicated than we thought it was going to be because we didn't realize how many owners of the various sections of the property were. That we're doing this with just not one equity, but several varieties of equity, I guess is the best way of
100%.
putting it. But working with the board, working with Chris Kenny, working with town council elsewise, and also with Weston and Sampson, we were able to put something together that includes a payment plan for their connection to the North Bedford Street sewer system. They'll put down, in essence, an initial deposit. It's not refundable, but initial amount of money, and then they will be paying a certain amount of money every year for the next 20 years,
Right.
the length of the time of the bond that we'll be paying for the work that is currently being done. So we'll have a cash flow to help pay for that bond over that time.
Yeah. You have the number in front of you there, Charlie? Do you remember off the top of your head what the total amount was that Equity was putting forth?
You can find out in a minute. Sorry.
That's not a problem.
You know,
What is he here? We already did his review.
So owner's cost share is estimated to be $1,386,000.
Yep.
And so through that, they'll pay 10% down at this point with signing this agreement. The rest of $1,247,400. Sorry, it's over 25 years. We're getting interest off of that.
Yep.
So it's not, so as, we'll see some additional money above and beyond the principal for that.
Yeah, so as Charlie alluded to, this has been a long process. Carl, you know, of the leaps and bounds that we had to go through. So this is the owners of both the Hard Hanks building and the Signature Health building. I will say that as we move forward the path of building the sewer system, we're about 3 months ahead of schedule over there. So when we do get to Highland Street and we are done, they have already committed to moving the pipe across the street, of course, with this agreement, but more importantly, they're hooking the Hard Hanks building up immediately. So
Great.
that will be a welcomed sight when that happens. And of course, buying that extra flow that they need in order to not just take care of that, but also bring on Signature and then potentially some other areas of development there. So, one of the 2 or 3 big pieces of the puzzle.
And for them, obviously, it makes it a far more attractive property in terms of finding leaseholders for new buildings on the property,
Yep.
new uses of the property. So having that connection, having it operational is going to be.
Yep, so that was the plan, so it's good to partner with them and finally get that done. I did talk to Jimmy Knight, who's the facilities coordinator for them. Jim lives in town. He was out of town. He was going to come tonight, but he was out of town today. Thought he'd be back early, couldn't make it there, but he wanted to let me know that they're already started the process to get
Great.
prepared for that, for that line to come over, and they're excited to do that, and they've got some other things that they'll introduce to us in the coming year as we get closer, so that's good. We did have a meeting today with, I might as well throw this in as we do this, with, me and John spoke to Greystar, the representatives over there. Yes, they are also negotiating for more flow as they want to present. They don't have anyone there yet. Yep, so they're concentrating on the areas that are more southern than where we are. So I'm assuming more closer to the highway that they
Yep.
are hoping to get. They have seen more traction of potential leasers, and they feel like they've got a good spot here, and they're looking to hopefully continue to look for somebody in that building.
That'd be
Yeah,
good.
it's big. So that was good. Good follow-up, but anyways, so that's where we are.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's getting there. Well, we'll say that when we're actually see this thing up and running, but either way. So, all right, motion made, we discussed it. Anything else? Everybody good? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And at some point, we'll get at least 2 copies signed by the board.
Okay.
And then gather signatures from Equity also.
Absolutely.
Approve the renewal of the following alcoholic licenses for the period ending on December 31st, 2026, as printed.
Motion made, second.
Second, I remember the old days when I had to read them
Yeah,
all.
I know, you're very frustrated, I can
These
tell.
young people got it easy now.
Right?
You went to school both uphill
Right.
both ways in the
Yes.
snow.
In the snow.
100%. All right, all in favor?
Aye. Approve the renewal of the following common victualler licenses for the period ending December 31st, 2026.
Second.
All right, motion made, second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approve the renewal of the following entertainment licenses for the period ending December 31st, 2026.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded, and discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approve the renewal of the following public entertainment licenses for the period ending December 31st, 2026.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Approve the renewal of the following coin-operated auto amusement license for the period ending December 31st, 2026, as printed.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Approve to renew the following licenses for the period ending January 1st, 2027, as printed.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approve the license listed below contingent upon resolution of outstanding items, as printed.
Second.
Motion made second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yeah. Is that it? You get them all?
It's all the licenses and permits.
Everybody's good? Okay. Great. Staff report, announcements. Lee?
Town Hall will be closed December 24th and 25th for Christmas. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Nice.
That's all I have.
New Year's Eve.
Oh, New Year's Eve, half a day, noon,
Mm-hmm.
and then New Year's Day, closed.
That's Thursdays.
We are, despite the federal order, we are not changing our hours. The 24th, we were already closed. The 26th, we're still open our normal hours here, 8:30 to
Friday?
noon.
That's the Friday, right? Okay.
And the other buildings will be open their normal hours.
Okay. And that's the same with New Year's, isn't it? Like the day before, so it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for that as well, right?
Well, Wednesday, there was no proclamation concerning the 31st or the 2nd.
Oh, okay.
The 31st, it's different hours in different buildings.
Okay.
It usually runs about half a day. And then the 2nd will be just a normal, whatever hours we
All right.
normally open on Friday.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Merry Christmas, Lee.
You do.
All right.
The police department received a grant for Blue Voice, which is a learning platform.
Okay.
It enhances risk management across law enforcement operations. This was granted through Maya, the insurance agency, and it's for a 1-year subscription, $5,700. So this will be a nice asset to the department there.
Beautiful. Great.
That's it.
Done. Okay. Merry Christmas to you as well.
Merry Christmas, Peter.
Thank you. Charlie?
We already talked about Hayward Road, so I'm not going to discuss that
Yeah,
any further.
yeah, we have
Municipal Empowerment Act, I didn't know if the board was ready to act on that, pun intended, I guess, or if you wanted to move that into the next year. I know it's not as if the legislature is going to be taking any action on this during the next couple of weeks, so.
Yeah. No, not happening.
So move it to the first meeting in January?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay.
So I
do
did
that.
start digging into it a little bit, so we'll continue that
January
process.
12th.
Yeah, we can definitely.
The matter that I didn't mention, that's not on here, but had come up fairly recently, obviously, we had the very tragic accident over at Bridge Street and Plymouth Street. And there are a number of circumstances involved that may have been the causes of that accident, but even before that accident occurred, that was sort of, we talk, the police department talks about known individuals, well, the DPW talks about known intersections that are problems for the town. And that has a number of problems there. Not because of the accident, but, or because the town had already been approached by MassDOT several weeks ago in terms of talking with John Haynes. They have instituted a new program that we are eligible, at least for so far, without mentioning any other compliance issues. But they are looking to make improvements and additional signage for intersections that are either a 2-stop, but a pass-through on the other side, or a 3-stop with one of the, possibly a pass-through going through there. Where we have Bridge Street and Plymouth Street, Bridge Street, of course, is a stop. Plymouth Street is a pass-through. And what John Haynes was able to do was get them to add that to the list of possible sites where they may be able to provide additional signage and such, and make improvements. It would still be run through the town. We would pay for a lot of the work that would be done there. We're not talking about construction. It's just signage, markings on street pavements and such. They are looking also at Whitman and Plymouth as another possibility. Though, in terms of talking with John, that is a more complicated situation in one way or another. But because you not just have the T intersection, you have people coming in or out onto Plymouth Street from Whitman Street, from the other directions. But it also is, when we look at Plymouth Street and Bridge Street, if you want to do a full reconfiguration, it's a far more complex issue. But if we can do anything that would help reduce the number of accidents and injuries there, that would be a great help to the town. So John is going to be continuing working with MassDOT on that possibility, with OCPC on that.
Great.
But it won't be tomorrow, it won't be next week, but maybe sometime in 2026, we'll be able to see something happen there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
It's tough because
rapid
the
quiz.
roads don't
They
line.
don't
I go
line
through
up.
that intersection
Right.
every day on
They
the
don't
way to
line
work.
up. They're
The
like-
roads don't line
yeah.
up.
And these.
But I
and-
also remember the time, because I've seen some of the comments on social media, people saying we need, traffic lights there, but I remember the time John Haynes was here, and he said the intersection with the most accidents in town is Washington and Central,
Yeah.
and there's traffic lights there, so that's
Yeah,
not
that's
always
big,
the answer.
No, and it's just, you get the slope coming down
Yep.
from the
Yeah,
other
the
side.
visibility's
Yeah,
not
it's
good.
just
They come
rotten.
up that hill sometimes so fast.
Right.
You need to reconfigure, you need to regrade, you
Yeah.
need to put in a complex traffic system, you need to put up additional signage on all 4. Yeah, it's millions of dollars to do a
Major,
full
right.
thing, but if we can spend a little money and make
Absolutely.
some sort of progress on
Yeah.
safety there, it'd be
Yeah.
good.
I mean, every situation, as Carol said, there's different places in different areas in town that we're, trying to find ways to limit the issues we have. I mean, we did a great job by town cleaners.
Right?
It worked out great, yeah. And where's all the people there to talk about that? Everything that
Well,
we
no,
did.
they don't,
Right. So that was.
Move to something else.
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, so that was, but here, it's much more difficult. It's just,
It's not a simple four-way
it's
stop.
not an easy road. So I'm glad, I did hear from John as well today, so glad he's trying to move forward to find something in that area. Because, we put the barrier in for, Mr. Litchfield, which I think helped out, but that certainly doesn't solve.
Right, it doesn't actually prevent the accident.
No.
It simply prevents the accident from landing in his yard.
His backyard, right. That's basically what it was, but anyways.
Okay.
Good. Anything else, Charlie? Is that good?
That's it.
Okay. All right, board discussion. Oh, yes, Merry Christmas to you.
Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah, Happy Hanukkah, right.
It's all over.
Well,
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. Board discussions. Carrie, you got anything?
I can't talk.
No, you can't talk.
But Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry
Happy New Year.
Christmas.
It's to a healthy 2026.
Healthy, 100%.
Exactly. Happy and healthy 2026. No, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays to everybody, and yeah, that's all.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, as always, to work with you again this year and with you
Thank
for,
you.
6 months, how long you been here now? 6, 7 months?
Yeah,
about,
it's
right?
been
a while?
since
Yeah.
May.
Look forward to
So-
both of you going forward here next year, and you guys as well. Thank you for everything that you do, and putting up with some of the shenanigans that I come up with as we sit up here.
Thank you and good night.
Try to keep things alive, but I really want to thank you again
You shenanigans.
for this. This was, heartfelt from not only you guys, but from everybody in here, and then, of course, the items that you put in. Again, it's like 13 years, and we'll continue doing it.
Great.
Yeah.
All I do is make a phone call, and these two guys take care of business over here, so appreciate that very much.
and as she said, it's wonderful to see that type of support here in a smaller community.
really is.
That comes together for something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Good. All right, I'll entertain a motion. You want to make a motion to, oh, no,
Are
we
we
have to
going
go
to
back.
executive?
Sorry.
Right.
We'll
Do I have
keep
to
it
read
short.
that
We will
thing
keep it
again?
short.
That's why I was like, thank you and good night.
Charlie,
I think I threw that away.
5 minutes.
start calling you
You can
Marley.
time me.
I'm gonna call you Scrooge.
Do I get to read this thing, just read this
Call
whole?
Rebecca Marley.
All right.
Was it Bob or is?
Bob Cratchit?
Cratchit.
Cratchit.
I'll make a motion here. I'll move the East Bridgewater Select Board to go into executive session for the following reasons pursuant to Mass General Law, C-30A 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or negotiate contract negotiations with non-personnel, town administrator, and the Select Board will not reconvene once we leave executive session. I confirm this as the chair. I look for a second.
Second.
All right. Discussion, all in favor? Aye. All right, I declare that having open meeting, collective bargaining, contract negotiations, and litigation may be detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the Select Board. I confirm this as the chair. Any other discussion? Anyone have anything else they'd like to say before we leave this table? Hearing none, I'll have a roll call. Aye, Peter Spagone, chair.
Aye, Carol Julius, Vice Chair.
Excuse me.
Hi, Catherine.
Did you read the two executives?
Yes, I did.
You did? Oh, okay.
I got both of them down, yeah.
You with the Pledge of Allegiance, me with the.
We did, we did double, yeah, double night. All right, that's it. Thank you as well, Zach, for your work.
All this year, appreciate it.
What's
I
that?
mean, all his work during the year.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
Do
because without
appreciate you, Zach.
without EBCAM, I think a lot of people here in East Bridgewater wouldn't.
I'm always surprised at the number of people who tell me they watch these meetings.
Yeah, me too, right.
Yeah, I know. It makes you feel good. I'm like,
Really?
you asked a lot
I
of good questions.
want to say they
Me?
should spend their time doing something much more entertaining, but I do
We're
appreciate that
entertaining. We're
people
Thank you,
use it
Zach.
to stay informed.
Well, maybe they're folding laundry at the same time.
Yeah, they could be doing that, right. All right, we're good. Thank you.
Charlie.